My name is Riley. If you're hearing this, it's because I finally managed to smuggle the memory card out in a hollow doubt chicken bone. I've been hiding in a string of motels ever since, moving every 3 days, paying cash, never ordering delivery, especially not chicken. This is the first and last time I'm telling the whole story from my own mouth. No edits, no music, no creepy filter. Just me, a cheap recorder, and the smell that never leaves my skin. October 31, 2023, Harlan County, Kentucky. We called ourselves GraveShift Crew. Me, Mia, Jonah, and Sage. We had 2 million followers waiting for the Halloween drop, and the abandoned KFC on Old Mill Road was supposed to be our masterpiece. The place had been boarded up since '98 after some kind of health department nightmare nobody would talk about on the record. Perfect clickbait. We parked the Jeep a quarter-mile out, killed the lights, and rolled in silent. The building looked dead from the outside, smashed windows, weeds, the bucket sign hanging by one bolt like a broken neck. But the second Mia pried the plywood off the service door, the air inside was warm, not stale, not cold, warm, like someone had just turned the ovens off 5 minutes ago. I stepped in first with the camera rolling. The smell slammed into me so hard my knees almost buckled. Hot oil, cayenne, that sweet coleslaw stink, exactly like every KFC I'd ever been in, only thicker, richer, alive. My stomach growled loud enough that Jonah laughed behind me. Dude, save some for the video. We spread out across the lobby, flashlights carving tunnels through the dark. The tables were set, trays, napkins folded into little crowns, salt shakers full. Someone had been taking care of the place. That should have been the first red flag. But we were too busy hyping ourselves up for the algorithm. I panned the camera up to the menu board and froze. Every price had been scratched out with red marker and rewritten by hand. A 16-piece bucket that used to be $24 now said $89. 99 lasts forever. At the bottom, in letters so fresh the marker still glistened, someone had added a special, long pig while supplies last $0. Sage read it out loud in her spooky voice for the private Discord stream, and the chat lost its mind. I laughed it off. Kids, right? Some local legend trying to scare urbexers. We'd seen worse. We hopped the counter into the kitchen. Fryers were full of oil, not dry, dup crust, not rust, black glossy oil that reflected our flashlight beams like mirrors. The gauges on every station sat at a perfect 350 degrees F. I held my hand an inch above one, and the heat licked my palm. Jonah opened the walk-in cooler, and the cold rolled out, thick with raw chicken and something metallic underneath. Rows of birds hung from hooks, pale and glistening. I remember thinking the skin looked weirdly hairless, almost baby, smooth, but I was too busy filming to really process it. Then Mia whispered, "Riley, those aren't chickens." Sage zoomed her GoPro. 5 little fingers fused together at the ends of each wing. That's when I felt the first twist in my gut that had nothing to do with hunger. Jonah slammed the cooler door so hard the whole building seemed to shudder. He wanted out. I should have listened. Instead, I told everyone to shut up and keep rolling. This was gold. That's when every fluorescent light in the place snapped on at once, harsh and white, like a dentist's office from hell. The drive, through speaker outside, dinged its happy little chime, and a voice came through, warm, folksy, impossible. "Welcome to KFC. May I take your order?" We all spun around looking for the prankster. There was nobody. Just that voice again, closer now, coming from everywhere and nowhere, running a special tonight, fresh, never frozen. The side door we'd come through locked itself. I heard the deadbolt slide home with a wet click. Mia grabbed my sleeve and pointed at the floor. The tiles weren't ceramic. They were bone, hundreds of human femurs and tibias laid end to end, polished smooth, grouted with something dark that still hadn't dried. I dropped to my knees and puked right there. The mop bucket that caught it hadn't existed 30 seconds earlier. Then Brad fell from the ceiling vent. He landed on the counter with a wet thud, a manager in a faded red polo, name tag crooked, skin the color of weak, old gravy. His eyes were sewn shut with butcher's twine. When his body hit, a single golden French fry slid out of his mouth like a cigarette. He sat up slow, vertebrae popping, and smiled with way too many sharp teeth. "Table for 4, he asked in the colonel's voice. Sage screamed and bolted for the bathrooms. Jonah tried to follow, but the bone floor rippled and glued his shoes down. Mia and I ran for the walk-in, figuring the roof hatch was our only way out. Behind us, I heard the Brad. Things start to hum the old jingle while its legs bent backward, and it crawled over the counter like a spider. Inside the freezer it was warm. Hooks swayed overhead with more of those pale, finger-winged things. The back wall was a shrine of Polaroids. Every night shift employee going back 50 years, smiling in their fresh uniforms on top, then hanging breaded from hooks underneath. 4 blank spots waited at the bottom with yesterday's date written in grease pencil. The ceiling hatch hung open. A rope ladder made of braided intestines unrolled itself and dangled down like it was happy to see us. We climbed. Jonah never made it that far. I found out later from the audio his body cam picked up. The dining room filled with dead employees, dozens of them, every decade, every uniform. They circled him, humming, whispering about extra crispy. Then the floor opened and he dropped straight into the grinder. The mic caught 30 seconds of wet churning before it cut out. Mia and I burst onto the roof 30 feet above the parking lot. No fire escape, no way down. The giant bucket sign flickered on for the first time in decades, and the colonel's painted eyes followed us, real pupils dilating. The roof tiles started sweating grease. Handprints pushed up from underneath, slow and patient. The whole roof was a lid, and whatever was under it was waking up hungry. Maya was crying so hard she could barely speak. We jump or we die up here. I looked over the edge, broken legs or whatever was coming through the shingles. I was about to say we had no choice when the hatch exploded open behind us. Sage crawled out, only it wasn't Sage anymore. Someone had peeled her like a banana, turned her skin inside out, and zipped her back into it. The empty face flap hung over her real one like a hood. Grease poured from the eye holes. She opened her mouth, and the colonel's voice rolled out, warm as fresh biscuits. "Thank you for dining with us. Your order is ready." Then my Sage's real voice, tiny and far away from somewhere inside. "Riley, it tingles when they bread you," she charged. I shoved me off the roof first, 30 feet. I heard her hit, then Sage was on me, claws made of broken breading shards raking my face. She bit my ear off, crunch, just like biting into a perfect wing. I tasted cayenne and blood. I managed to grab the bucket sign pole, swung out over the drop, but she whispered, "You're the secret ingredient now," and I let go. I woke up on the asphalt next to Mia's body. She was folded into a neat stack, already breaded. The colonel knelt beside me in his white suit, pristine, smelling like a Sunday drive in 1955. He held a red and white bucket that steamed in the cold night air. He picked out a piece golden, perfect, and pressed it to my lips. I tried to turn away. He stroked my hair like a grandfather and said, "Open up, son. It's finger, lickin' good." My jaw unhinged by itself. The chicken was the best thing I'd ever tasted. I hate myself for chewing. That's the last thing I remember before the dark took me. They kept me for 2 years. I worked the kitchen. I smiled at the window. I wore the polo. Some nights I was the voice on the speaker. We never close, we deliver now. You've probably seen the coupons that appear in your app even though you never downloaded it. You've probably woken up at 3 a.m. with grease on your fingers and no memory of cooking. I escaped 3 nights ago. One of the new kids, some TikToker who thought he was tough, left a bone. Handled knife too close to my station. I cut my name tag off first. It bled when I did. Then I carved my way through the walk-in wall into the sewer main. I've been running since. If you're hearing this, it means I got far enough to upload it. Don't try to find me. Don't look up the address. Don't Google the place. Just delete this file and never eat fried chicken again. Because I'm not the only one who got out. Sometimes, late at night, when a customer pulls up to the speaker and places their order, I'm still the one who answers. Welcome to KFC. May I take your order?